Yeah, exactly. A lot of folks were like, wait a minute, it's snowing.
Got a weather impact alert day today for the snow that's moving in. Good bursts of snow, a lot of it staying obviously in the air. Our ground temperatures anywhere between 36 and 38 degrees.
And then you can see we do have some snow that is coming down. You get into these darker purple colors and that is a pretty good healthy batch of snow that's coming in. But we also have snow farther west throughout portions of Rocky River, Lakewood, that's snow in downtown Cleveland. We also have flurries farther south from
Alright guys, hey, what's up? It's Steve Sleepy. Welcome back to the channel. And if you can tell by the foliage and stuff, it is fall here in Ohio. Actually, it's the beginning of November. And so because of that, the end of a lot of our riding season's pretty much hitting. We'll still be riding four-wheelers and things all through the winter, but a lot of the road bikes are gonna get put away. So what we're gonna end up doing is winterizing most of the gear in the garage. So any of the quads, any of the bikes that we're not gonna ride, we're gonna get all this gas out that is questionably ethanol or not. We're gonna get 100% gas put in them. We're gonna get Startron fuel stabilizer put in them. And we're gonna make sure that they all have battery tenders, etc. So, all right, let's head over to the garage and we will start the process. But first, more fun with the four-wheeler. You can ride.
Not four-wheeler.
Okay.
Actually, I heard it.
Go get your helmet. You can ride. All right, so we're back inside the garage, and some of you guys are asking, like, your winter what-a, who's a what-in? And if you live in a place that doesn't have winter, doesn't have seasons, etc., first of all, you can go F your hat, because we're jealous of you. You get to ride all year round, and that's not what we get to do. Any of the northern states, anywhere like Ohio, Michigan, places like that, with these seasons, your riding season is pretty much April through maybe November. With the adventure bike, I'll ride until it snows, but with these guys, when you're going out there and you're really trusting your tires and the kind of riding that you're doing, it's not worth it with the leaves on the corners and moisture that hangs out when the weather gets colder and things like that. You don't want to be pushing it too hard on these kind of bikes. So what do you got to do, man? You got a garage, put it in the garage, throw it on a battery tender, you're good, right? Not so much. Thanks to ethanol, the lovely corn juice that lives inside of our gas, usually up to 10 to 15% in some areas, that chemical loves to clog carburetors, fuel injectors, any kind of small little orifices, and it will clog them up and make your life hell. If you guys remember back a couple months ago, I sold a lot of my vintage bikes because I got sold bad gas last year and it clogged about 42 carburetors, and I didn't want to have anything to do with cleaning that many carburetors. So anyways, even though that these bikes are fuel injected, I still like to get that ethanol out of them. So first thing we're gonna do, and I'm gonna do this to all the bikes, but I'm only gonna show you guys one, is I have a little manual pump. I'm gonna suck the gas that I have out of here because the last time I rode this was a 500-mile day, and I was putting in whatever gas that I could find, and that's probably not the best gas to live in it all through the winter. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the fuel out of here, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's get going. There we go. So we'll get this guy down in here as far as we can get it. Put this guy down in our empty hull. All right, so the last time I rode, I pretty much came back with almost an empty tank, so not a lot came out here. I'm gonna go ahead and suck the gas out of my pit bike, and then we're gonna head to the gas station. I'm gonna go ahead and get me some 100% gas. I'll show you guys what to look for. Then we'll come back and we'll finish the job. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get the gas out of the pit bike too. All right, so that tank is empty. I'm gonna close it up for now. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna head to the gas station and get some non-ethanol gas. Before we do that, we're gonna put this gas in my car because you use the car every day, you can burn this gas up. No need to waste it. But that way we're gonna get gas for the lawnmower, the pit bikes, The bikes that we're not riding, the Africa Twin and the BMW, I still might ride until it snows, so I'm probably not gonna do those just yet. They'll be down the line, but we'll go ahead and get these guys handled. So, all right, so we got this empty, we got the Aprilia empty. Let's go get some gas. Okay, let me get this last gas can in here. Oh, also, what you're gonna wanna do is bring some kind of a stabilizer with you. I personally like to use Startron. It's an enzyme stabilizer, so it treats whatever is the stuff that's in ethanol, that it's like an organic material that can cause the clogging in your carburetors and or fuel injectors. This seems to kill that bug and work really well, especially with 100% gas. So that's what I've been using, and that's what I'm gonna do. But I find it important to take it with me and add it into the empty cans. That way when you add your gas, it really mixes it in and make sure that the whole thing is mixed well. All right, let's go to the gas station. Well, bam, there she is. All free, baby. Oh, nobody likes to see that though. First thing we do, we get rid of all the lids, obviously. And then I go ahead, I put my Startron in. Cap per gallon, I got that down to about a little in here. By putting the Startron in ahead of time, I feel like it's really mixing in when I'm putting the gas in like this. This is why I do it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that your way is wrong. I'm just saying this is how I do it. Works for me. So, here's one of the shitty parts of non-ethanol gas. All right, we find ourselves back. I'm gonna put some gas in here. Obviously, this Startron is in my 100% gas. 100% gas is going in the tank, and that's gonna get rid of all that ethanol. Then what we're gonna do after we fill it, we're gonna go ahead and run the bike and let it run for about 5 minutes or so, get that gas down and inside the injectors. Make sure that it's got the newer gas in there and not the old stuff. This is a giant funnel because I am terrible at getting gas into motorcycles. It usually makes a giant mess. I don't doubt that this is probably going to make a mess, but at least I'll give myself a fighting chance. I have the hose off of this guy because it doesn't like to pour either, so we're gonna try this. There we go. All right, right to the top. And just about the full 5 gallons, so I think we did a pretty good job of getting the old gas out. All right, so I still made a mess. I tried not to. I'm gonna clean this up. Then we'll do the pit bike, and then I'll talk about the other things that I do to store this for the winter. For this little guy, I'm gonna attempt to use this stupid thing. I don't know if you guys have one of these things where you are. Most horrible invention in the history of inventions. Look at that, I'm just gonna get gas on everything. We're supposed to save the environment. I think it actually hurts it. I've spilled more gas with these stupid tops than I have with any other thing in the history of my life. Oh, there we go. All right, didn't take a lot. Okay, so we got good gas in her, we got Startron in her, and we're gonna push her back into the place. And one of the things that I like to do, which I'll show you guys, is if it's like a bike that is designed for very smooth riding, like this one, it is ready to go to the turns and the smooth roads and stuff. I like to get the tires off the ground so they're not stuck on the cement all winter long and you don't get any flat spots. Or just even change the compound of the rubber by being in the cold the whole time. So we're gonna go ahead and push this back. We're gonna get my track stands, put it on the track stands, get it vertical, and then we'll go from there. So let's get that done. All right, so as winter actually draws in, and I do this to all the bikes, I probably will pull them all out, organize them a little bit better, et cetera, but this is pretty much it. I got both wheels off the ground, I got Startron and 100% gas in here. When I got the bike, I went ahead and I got a battery tender lead put in, so I got my battery tender. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here. If you don't have a battery tender for your bike and you live in a place where you don't ride all the time, I highly recommend getting one. It can extend the life of the battery for a few years. It's just a trickle charger that monitors your battery, kind of feeds it some just to keep it in the pocket all winter long. Sometimes the smart ones, like a NOCO, and some of the more expensive ones will actually do cycles where it'll let the battery drop a little bit and bring it back up just to keep it alive. So it works really well. And of course, the last thing I do, once the bike's on the stand, it's in its position, I got gas in it the way I want it, I got the battery tender hooked up, is I go ahead and I grab my chain wax and I grab just a paper towel and I spray the chain down and wipe it down just to give it a chance so it doesn't corrode over the winter when condensation goes up and down. And that's about it. Now, I don't cover my bikes. Some people will run like a sheet just to keep the dust off, etc. But I'd rather have dust than rust. Unless you're in a place that's constant, like moisture in and out. But this garage, I don't keep my cars in, it's just for the bikes. So besides the four-wheeler going in and out, there's not gonna be a lot of moisture changes, or dust for that matter. But it's much easier to wash a bike off in the spring and get the dust off than it is if you have a watertight type of a cover, because if condensation gets up inside there and then the temperature of the garage goes up or down, you can end up with a lot of damage to some of your chrome, your metal, etc., just from condensation. So I always go with the little slogan, I'd rather have dust than rust. All right, let's get the pit bike going, and then what we'll do is we're going to start this up in a minute and let it run for 5 or 10 minutes just to get that gas to go down through the fuel injectors, etc. And that's one way of doing it. So let's go ahead and get the pit bike, and then I'll show you another way to make sure the gas is in there. All right, so once you got the gas inside the bike, you can either start it like we're going to do with the Aprilia and let it run, or and that's the other way you can run that gas in, which I highly recommend doing it that way. Also, I shut the carburetor, I shut the petcock off a little while ago so that it actually ran the gas down so the carb is not just soaked in gas. All right, so I got a whole bunch of other bikes to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump on those. I highly recommend winterizing your bikes. It'll really help you in the spring when you go out to start them when they actually start. Because I can tell you, with vintage bikes and carburetors, if you don't do it and you get bad gas or you just leave the ethanol in there, you could have a lot of carburetors to clean come spring. And then you have to sell your bikes and then buy a whole bunch of new awesome ones. Anyways, if it works, it ain't dumb. We'll see you on the next one.